to be given 100%. So if you're going to walk into a relationship, are you willing to give that 100%? 100% meaning you love them no matter what. Now, the second part of that, if you give something, see, the Ten Commandments goes into one aspect of the situation. They don't explain the other part of it. There's always two sides to it. If you want respect, you have to give it. You want love, you have to give it. So it's a two-sided thing. You can't say and classify it as all one thing for a man. It has to be classified for women as well. So, are you still looking for love? And how important is it? What are you going to do in your spare time if you're looking for love? Go out and find it. Go out and look for it. Go online and try to find it. Either way, however, but being active means being involved. But sadly to say, I watched so many shows over the past year about these computer relationships that become real relationships, 90-day romance, 90-day fiance, and all those kind of things. When you meet somebody online, it's like you're not next to a person, so you could say a lot of things, and if somebody else isn't going to hear you, you can say whatever you want, which is not a really good thing. It's definitely not at any level, but it's used in many relationships over the phone. When it comes time to reality, it changes all of a sudden. Well, I didn't tell you this, so you don't know that, or this, this is going to spring out. So looking for love is critical, but how you go about it, what you expect. If you meet somebody online, what do you ask them? I listen to these shows, I listen to people that say, I met my partner, husband, wife, online. What would you say to them? What do you ask them? Do you want to get married? Hopefully not. Are you looking for a relationship? Do you have a boyfriend or girlfriend? Well, that's how it usually starts. Are you single? Are you dating? Well, it's nice to know those things if you're going to try to fall in love with somebody. So, understanding the boundaries, the limits, the things that you need to do to create an idea of love in your life is really important. Sure, we all have somebody out there that'll be in a relationship with us. But is it the right person? Oh, well, the right person's out there. They always say you're twin. But there's a person out there for you that's just right? Maybe not. If you create this giant wall of scenarios that has to be filled before somebody can even talk to you, you might not ever fill it. Because you might not see all those things filled at one time. A soulmate is believed to be that perfect one for you, or you're the perfect one for them. All right, that's not true. We want to believe it. We want to know, there's somebody out there for me. Everybody has somebody out there for them. No, not everybody does. Because we create our foundation of who and what we are. Sometimes it's really hardcore. And very few people can step into that. Other people. I mean, I want somebody with this. They have to be this. They have to do that. And this has to be. Now somebody says if you get half of what you're looking for, you're lucky. No, you're not lucky. Because that relationship will not work. When you create your foundation of love in your mind and ideas of what you want out of it, be real to yourself and be real to society. Well, the girl or the boy has to be this perfect dimension, perfect this, perfect eyes, perfect teeth, perfect. You might not find that person. I mean, if we were all super perfect, I don't think anybody would be here. So, all these things are simple little guidelines if you're really ready and want love in your life. Now, multiple people want multiple people around them, meaning they're not happy with one person. So with that being said, do you expect your partner to agree with that. And I'll tell you this, and I watch relationships that are 3-way, 4-way, whatever. It'll work for a while. Anything could work for a while. Even if it's a really bad relationship, even if it's this, that, or the other thing, without any boundaries and all that, it can work for a while. Sooner or later, there will be a point when that person desires what they truly desire, and it's not there. When you fall in love with somebody, and they have 2 partners, or 3 girlfriends, or 3 boyfriends, well, I don't care. You don't care because you're not truly ingrained in love with that person yet. Hopefully not. But as you do, suddenly you realize they're not willing to give that percentage of whatever they give to anybody else to you. So love in the physical world is really complex. It requires a lot of thinking on your part, a lot of action on your part, a lot of work on your part. Now, somebody told me, he says, well, what you're looking for, do you look in the mirror and see what you have to offer them? If you expect somebody to find this, that, and everything about you, what are you going to give them to make it worth their while to find you? See, men in a lot of cases don't go out of the way. Most men are overweight. I mean, women have to stay trim and fit and all those things where a man usually doesn't care. And then I'll talk about that word later, about forced relationships, because there's nothing else. But when we deal with who we are, what we create ourselves to be, does it pertain to spiritual at all? Is there anything spiritual going on in you? Outside of the spiritual part, do you look like something somebody would want? And that's critical. If you feel bad about yourself, why do you think other people will not see the same thing or feel it? No matter what you are, what you're doing, you need to feel good about yourself. If you want somebody to love you for who you are, it needs to be something that's good. Not just, I don't care, she doesn't care. Oh, no, everybody cares about everything sooner or later. Everything has its place and time. Like when a person can't have children and they get married and they don't tell their husband or wife, or a woman can't. It's pretty sad because it already put a person through that. Do souls have a feeling about God? Well, we'll talk about the God aspect in a little bit because I'm still grounded to the physical world. We start at the bottom and work our way to the top. On the bottom is physical love. But in the physical world, we have different kinds of love. And I'll give you that other word, unconditional love. Then we have that word that I use a lot, family love, children love, animal love. They each have their role, and then there's always that other important word that goes with what I'm explaining right now, is self-love. Is there a book that tells you how to self-love your person? Self-love yourself. Well, that's not too complicated. Do you love yourself? Well, I don't know. Well, you don't know, then you don't. You either do or you don't. You either know who you are or you don't. And if you don't know who you are, how do you love it? I don't know well, if you don't know, fill in the gap. Find out who you are. Because if you're trying to sell yourself to somebody else, what are you selling them? Well, here's a car. I never drove it, but it looks cool. It might be cool. Drive it. Take it for a long ride. And then you'll have a little more able to say what it is. When you step into your body and use this car, I call it karma, you'll learn about it. You help create certain things you can't change about your body. I mean, many people do. I even talked about that already, but changing your body to fit what people want to see. Is it what you want to see, or is it what you think other people have to see or want to see? A lot of weightlifters, I did a lot of exercise. I was into being healthy and shape and all that. But it was just always being in a space where I know I could protect myself, defend people around me, and be the best that I can. How do other people perceive you? I feel how I perceive myself is much more important than how somebody else perceives me. Because taking that further, how does God perceive you? I mean, we'll go into that later, but how does God perceive you? What do you give back to God? Why do you think God would love you in any vain idea of that? Because the Bible says so. God has to love everybody because He created us. If you created a killing machine or invented a killing machine, should you be in love with the machine because you created it, even though it's just going to kill people? I mean, as far as a person, relationships and what happens with bad relationships really change reality. So we got this most complex thing of the most important thing in most people's minds. How important is love? How important is it to you on a scale of 1 to 1,000? Is it 1,000 or is it 100 or is it 10? See, that is critically an egotistical idea, because love should be unconditional to yourself. But when I use the word unconditional, it's not like the way other people use the word unconditional. Because unconditional means you love yourself no matter what. No, if you're out of shape, if you're not this, you gotta fix those things. And then you can say you love yourself. So there are conditions on unconditional love. You can love a tree. Say, I love you, tree. I love you just because you're a tree. Tree breaks and falls on your house. Oh, I love you, tree. You fell on my house. No. Just conditions. Just that you don't omit any of the conditions about things to yourself. It makes it that much easier to love something in your own viewpoint, egotistical idea of what it means. So, are you looking for love right now? Have you been? How long have you been? Are you prepared to give somebody something important? A true, honest, caring person? What are you offering a person back? That's why I say look in the mirror. What do you see? Look into your eyes. Look into your heart. Are you willing to give that completely over to a person that you're in love with? Then you need to ask yourself why. Why would I give myself over to a dog or to another guy or another woman or whatever? Or multiple women. I want 3 women in my life. See, right there is already taking the word, spreading it out, and trying to fit it into different grooves. It's like taking a square peg and putting it in a round hole. Well, I want it to fit in this hole, but it doesn't. So, can you compare that to love of a tree, of a flower, of the ocean, your cat, or your dog? Now, for me, I always had animals in my life. I loved them all. Hamsters, alligators, snakes, turtles, you name it, I had it. The only thing I didn't have all my life was a dog. And then by getting a dog 2 years ago, I suddenly realized the void that I had by not having a dog. And he's going to bark in the background and make everything noisy. But when they come into your reality, if you never had it, can you say, I love the dog? You will learn to love a dog. I never wanted a little dog. And what do I got? A little dog. But it's like the second most important thing in my life. So when we create things and we talk about love, you don't understand everything about it, but you need to work with the things you do understand. What are you willing to give for love? What are you willing to take for love? And if there's limits when you start a relationship, they have to be there. And I think you should write them out, put them on a paper, both sign it, say, these are the limits, these are the things, and I know it. Because those things usually don't change. You might say, oh, I will change this, and I won't do that. But the basic things that you are there. And that's why soul's here in this lifetime. It's dealing with that programmed, locked-in idea